Hi, I'm Erika Granderson, Thee Otaku Realtor, and I watch Aurora podcast.
We're gonna have to do a
Well,
blooper
you're not the first
one
person to do it.
do a blooper one. That's
Okay, one more time.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Erika Granderson, Thee Otaku Realtor, and I watch Aurora Comics podcast.
But how are you doing? And thank you so much for reaching out to us. We love having Black women on the pod. Because it seems like we have a lot more men on the pod, and it just happens to
Hmm.
be out that way. But
Yeah.
it was nice. I'm glad you was able to join us today.
No, yeah, I'm excited. I'm in my shoot your shot era, right? So
My name is Joseph Illage, groundbreaking writer and editor.
I'm Aaron Perrine, co-host of Phase Hero.
I'm T. Franklin, a Black, queer, disabled, award-winning, best-selling comic book writer.
This is Preach Jacobs, hip-hop artist and founder of Colacon, the nation's only hip-hop comic convention.
Hi, my name is Carla.
Hi, I'm Ebony.
We talk about health, culture,
And comic books.
And I listen to
And I listen to
You're tuned into
And I watch Aurora's podcast. And I watch Aurora Comics podcast.
Aurora Comics Podcast.
the Aurora Comics Podcast.
Aurora Comics
podcast.
You guys should be listening to
the Aurora Comics Podcast.
Yes, if you're not, there's something wrong with you. There's really something wrong with you. This is the best podcast. It's like parallel to my podcast. It's right there. They're back and forth.
Yes. So I'm not an anime girl. So you're gonna
okay.
with me. I think Ebony knows a little bit more about anime than I do. The only anime that I actually will sit down for, and I'm still binging, is My Hero Academia.
And that's fine. I love that for you.
So that's the only one that I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, and that's how I actually, because I don't like, I'm not gonna say I don't like, but I just never could get behind some of the bigger ones. I love Dragon Ball Z, love that. That's how me and my husband bonded when we first, got together. I loved Pokemon because my son's into Pokemon, but I don't really I never really connected to them. My Hero Academia was the first one that I actually connected to. And it's an older one, because I think one day I was watching Hulu and I was like, oh, what's this? What's this? So I started watching it. I loved it. So
we're MHA fans over here too.
Yeah. My name is Carla Medrano, and I'm a wife, a mom, a nurse, and creator. And I'm the co-host of Aurora Comics Podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ebony Toussaint, and I'm also a wife, mom, and nurse. I'm a research scientist as well, studying Afrofuturism and intersectionality for biosocial methods to advance health equity. We are here today with Aurora Comics Podcast, where we discuss the intersection of health, culture, and comic books. And we're so happy to have you join us here, Erika. Welcome to the Aurora Comics Podcast family.
And happy
Thank you. I'm excited.
History Month.
Oh, yes, Women's History Month, and I think it's International Women's Day.
Yeah, yes.
She's making history, anime, and homes, baby.
I know.
Yes, thank you.
So before we jump into the interview and our discussion, I just wanted to read your bio just to kind of give our listeners some context and why you were a perfect choice for this podcast. And we don't have everybody on here. Like we get a lot of we do get quite a number of requests, and I was like, we gotta make sure we get Erika on. All right, so Erika Granderson, Thee Otaku Realtor. A lifelong anime and manga enthusiast, Erika Granderson has turned her passion into a unique real estate brand as the Otaku Realtor, blending a deep love for storytelling with a keen eye for home ownership opportunities. She specializes in helping fellow fans find their dream homes, whether that's a cozy space for a growing collection or the perfect setup for an anime-inspired home office. With a decade of experience in customer service, years of high-level sales, and a creative approach to marketing, Erika is not just selling homes, she's building futures. I like that. A top producing agent, she has sold 97 homes and earned the Circle of Excellence Gold tier in 2022. Through her content on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, she bridges the gap between otaku culture and real estate, proving that home buying doesn't have to be boring. When she's not helping clients level up their home ownership game, you can find her deep diving into the latest manga, binging seasonal anime, or exploring the best spots for nerd culture in her city. So welcome. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, take us back to that moment when you fell in love with anime.
This was, let's see, it's 2025 and I'm 35 going on 36. So this was 1997-ish. And I woke up one early Saturday morning and this white girl with blonde hair and pigtails was on my TV and I was obsessed. And it was Sailor Moon. And then I watched it. And then the next episode right after it, I think, was Pokemon. And then I called my brothers out and I was like, y'all gotta watch this. And we have been locked in since the 90s.
Wow. I didn't even know what anime was in the 90s. I wasn't even watching.
Because we're the same age. So yes, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, we had everything. Oh my God.
Everything.
Digimon kind of sneaking there, but then we got Naruto. We got, I think Avatar came on Nickelodeon a little bit later, but we had everything. Oh my gosh, the 90s was a great time. Such a great time.
Toonami in the 90s was just kiss.
It's a Toonami. You just unlock. I haven't heard that name said in a long time.
They're still doing things. I think Toonami now, but like they're showing the later stuff, so the stuff that airs on Crunchyroll, but they get it like way later. I think they were like still on season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's almost, so they
Even
were like
so,
seasons behind.
what constitutes anime though? Because technically it just started referring to like animated and like Japanese stuff, but if it's animated,
I actually saw a cool threads today, and they said that at this point anime is global. Before, anime was short for Japanese animation specifically, and that's why, as great as Avatar: The Last Airbender is as a show, it's a show, you know what I'm saying? And people were saying that it's not anime because it's not Japanese animation.
Like the writers aren't Asian, even though it's Asian influence. Yeah.
And I think that's actually the bigger thing of it. The Asian influence, I think, is the bigger like theme. Because a Western comic can still be animation if it was inspired by, if it was inspired by anime, I would still, call it anime.
I didn't think
me personally.
That.
You've had somebody ask you like, what is the specific definition, or I guess what definition do you ascribe to, regarding anime? I'm sorry, Carla, if you had a
I don't, hold on, let me get out of pop up. Oh, excuse me. Give me 1 second. The other interview was finished converting and it popped up on my screen. Okay, I'm out of there. All right. You was asking a question, Ebony?
Yeah, I was asking Erika, like, what's her definition of anime? So she says, homes and animes and homes. Like, so what do you use? And have you gotten any like comments from the anime or manga community about like, well, that's not really anime, or this is the best, or.
So I tend to prefer the broader definition, because if we only say Japanese anime, then Korean manga, the webtoons that are now becoming animated, you know what I'm saying? Then they also would not be called anime because so that's why I prefer the Asian influence. And that way all of it gets pulled in. Even my brother is actually in the manga industry. And he is, I think he's trying to draw his own Gundam style. It's like the robots. Um, but he lives in North Carolina. But if it got animated, it would be I would consider it anime. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it just is. I use the broader definition because I think that, especially because anime has been around so long, it has touched so much in so many parts of the world that if you were influenced by it, and that is the art style you're using, then that's what I would call it.
Yeah. So, how did you get into? Because I do want to highlight, this is Women's History Month. We want to celebrate the women that have decided to have chosen this space.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your business as a realtor. Like you sold close to 100 homes, which is
Yes.
not easy to do, especially in this climate that we're living in. But how did you become a realtor, and as a Black woman, that intersection between the realty and our Blackness,
Mhm.
what's that journey been like for you?
It's been interesting. I am thankful that I live in a very urban area. I live in the Virginia Beach metro area, Hampton Roads, 757, it's real Black. And so that hasn't been so bad. The hardest part is showing up in all of my Blackness in every space, right? Like there are towns in our area that aren't as Black. And asking yourself, or even asking myself, okay, can I have box braids in today? Do I need to wear a more traditional color wig? Do I need to, press my hair out? You know, in what way can I portray my Blackness and still be true to myself, but not offend people? Because at the end of the day, I need, to win this client over.
That's really
But,
interesting.
I got into this business because I was a retail sales manager for 6 years. And I got bored and I just felt like real estate was like next level customer service, right? Like, um, and I fell in love. That was 2018. I got my license. So 97 homes in 7 years, quick math. So
That's
I'm
amazing.
excited.
And even
Thank
through
you.
the pandemic might have
Hmm.
slowed you down, but I don't know if it did or not, but that's pretty good. That's really
Yeah,
good.
no, the pandemic hurt in a sense where like we couldn't go outside. And then they decided to drop interest rates down to 2%. And everybody came out the woodwork. And because everybody came out the woodwork, people were getting, outbid on properties. They just could not compete. So that was hard for my first time home buyers. It was hard for my VA buyers. Um, but, being a retail store manager, what helped me, I think, is being creative and coming up with solutions and helping my buyers come to the table with something that's a little bit different, like what makes our offer stand out, a little razzle dazzle.
I love
To
that. It's
help
always
them
little
win.
stuff. It's like the stuff like my cousin put like a little thank you basket together for us in the house, or I like the little keys that people use. And so the fact that you're tying anime in this, you're changing like you're kind of cosplaying on the job with the different wigs, like, and I like
Yes.
that you mentioned hair because it is Women's History Month, and we are two Black women and moms. And Carla and I, we both often change our hair, the color, the braids. Hair is usually big curly hair, don't care. Carla's also curly girly. But you made me think like I should play with my wigs more. Carla's more brave with her wigs than I am, but I need to dust mine off out of the back of my closet, girl. We should play with our viewership and me putting my red wig on and my blonde wigs on. We'll change it.
Yeah. I had a blonde curl. Actually a blonde like these curls, but a lot longer. But I had to retire her because she was getting too dusty, and you know how they get after a while, tangled up and
Seeing
real puffy.
the evidence, the study now, the preliminary on like the synthetic fibers and some of the hairs and stuff, the braiding hair. And I'm sure I didn't see
Mhm.
anybody say it yet, but I'm like, what about the wigs? Like I want to
Mhm.
scream, what about the wigs? Because we be changing up. I think more quick people who, like you said, Erica, have to change it up for work. I may not commit. I'll do a wig, but an install is something different. But I'm like, still, what about those synthetic fibers on the wig? They talked about dipping it in boiling. They talked about burning it. I'm like, we've done plenty of that. Got it,
Okay.
black on fire, dip it and roll it and burn it and man. So I don't know if you saw those studies, Erica, but I don't know if that made you look at your closet or your braiding hair and stuff and go, wait a minute.
What I'm glad about is that Black women have decided to own this space, because for a long time we did not own this space, and we probably still don't own a market share, but we are, to use real estate terms, we are gaining market share away from the traditional beauty supply stores and so seeing more as natural as synthetic fiber can be, but making sure it doesn't itch our scalp, making sure that it's not getting dip dyed fried and all that stuff before we install it. So that's been an exciting change to see for sure.
Yeah.
And
And
you
there's
have a
a
little girl? Do you have your mom, right? Your little girl
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yep,
face,
yep, yep.
braids and playing with mommy's wigs, like
Yeah, no, her favorite right now is, snatching. So I gotta teach her to stop doing that. And I don't know if
kids are
they
notorious for snatching some wigs off.
okay. What I want to see someone create is toddler proof or snatch proof lace glue. That's what I want.
they got the bands that stay in place too. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Baby
even then,
proof.
I don't know what it is about toddler grip, but they get it at the right angle, and
They got some strong grips.
they didn't cover that in nursing school. Some glue strength that's toddler grip strength.
Exactly.
So, if you okay, so you love anime. What do you feel? What is your favorite? What is your favorite anime, number one? Or some of your favorites? Let's put it that way. And I'm gonna
So
write
right
them down.
now, I have like a rolling top five. It changes. But right now we're at Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime. And then Given, which is like a boys' love, like, but really wholesome. It's really wholesome. Um, but they're in a band together. I'll say wholesome, but like trauma. It's not
Okay.
like, they touch on some mature themes. How about that? But not like NC-17 boys love. And then Solo Leveling has jumped into my top five.
Solo, say it one more time.
Solo Leveling.
Okay, let me Google that.
Yeah, it's I want to say it's a Korean webtoon.
Yeah, a web novel. It says South Korean portal fantasy web novel.
There we go.
And
But yeah, so it's
now
been
anime.
I've read all of the manhwa or the web comic. I want to read the source material. I want to go back and read the light novel. And it's currently airing right now. It's in season 2.
Yeah, that looks interesting. And I'm writing this down because I don't know anything about anime. I only know one thing, and that's My Hero Academia. So I'm writing these down. And so why do you connect with those as a is it we a lot of times sometimes we kind of get comments about this podcast and people don't like that how we bring up blackness and white and this and that, but that is who we are, that to not recognize that we are Black women first. I'm not sure then what are we doing here, right? So as a Black woman, why do you connect with anime? What is it about anime that you're like you prefer, that's a preferred artistic medium over, let's say, just regular animation? Why that Asian influence there?
I think it's just because it's been something that we've been around my whole life, right? My dad was stationed in Japan early on, and he sent my brother his first Dragon Ball comic in Japanese, and we can't read it. And then my mom threw it away in the trash because they showed Goku's butt, and she was upset, so she threw it away.
Oh no.
And so, but it just is something that it's always been a part of our lives, and from the nostalgia piece. And then what really made me pick it back up, 2013, my husband didn't have Cartoon Network growing up, so he never watched Toonami. And so we went back and watched Dragon Ball Z all the way through. So I'm the one who got my husband and brought him over into the nerd space. Even though he was already nerdy, like we were just, two Oreos, to use that horrible term, but it's what we are. But I think that not running away from that and kind of standing 10 toes down on like my interests are my interests, and I don't care why that you guys label it a certain way. I like what I like, and it doesn't make me any less black.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I listen to heavy metal. I listen to classical. I listen to, you know, to 2025's version of gangster rap, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So it just is, I think we're allowed as, and especially Black women specifically, we're allowed to, not only be multi-hyphenated in our careers and in who we are as people, but in our interests.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I stand Meg the Stallion. I'll never let anybody talk about my girl. Exactly. Because I'm like, she's highlighting that we can be blurs and nerds. We can be sexy. We can be brilliant. She's graduated. Like you said, she got her degrees. We can be multi-hyphenated. She's award-winning. Like you said, per the Recording Academy. Like,
Okay.
but she can still be sexy. And people still talking about her wearing a dress or having something, and it's like, really, like, this is what you concerned about? We got hungry children and we losing our health care and just a whole nother other stuff I can name besides worrying about making a dress.
Exactly.
So like,
Exactly.
we can be multifaceted. And
I love that peacock dress she had on the other day. I loved it. I mean, I know my husband wouldn't let me wear anything like that, but it was. I just think it was a beautiful. Did you see that dress? That peacock.
It was beautiful on her. I love it.
Google that dress.
I can pull it off, but
Google that dress.
go Meg.
Yeah, I loved it.
You see the supporter. That's why I was like, I don't care what she wear. Like, who cares?
And I think that just kind of speaks to how they always try to put us in boxes, just like they did with Beyonce. Yeah,
Beyonce. We both at the same time. And say that thing with that girl Beyonce. She's from Texas. Both of them from Texas. She can wear a cowboy hat and be Cowboy Carter all day as much as she want to.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I don't understand. Album of the year and one album of the year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I even had to school my dad because my dad, going back to talk still about the Beyonce, my dad thought that she made Cowboy Carter to be petty.
and if she did, look, I'm like, either way, I support it. And look, the amount of things I do out of spite because somebody tell me I can't. I'm just do it 2 and 3 times. I can't have kids and be scientists. I did it thrice. Watch me. Like, what? Period. Like, they get mad and try to put us in a box. But you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it in your face.
Do it. Okay. Yeah, no, but I hate the fact that she is who she is. Like we said, you don't get country in Texas. I mean, maybe North Carolina, someone who is from North Carolina, but you don't get country in Texas. And she has an accent
Cowboys too, because I'm from South Carolina. My mom's from North Carolina. She still lives in North Carolina. We got Carolina Cowboys too, and they coming out strong and educating people too. One just tried to ask me to marry him, girl. He rode up on his horse and asked me to marry him. I said, I'm already somebody's wife, sir. Okay. Not trying to have me become a homesteader. I could do it, but
okay. I do love Black Cowboy TikTok right now, though.
Oh, wait, have you seen the dance with the fan?
Oh, yeah, I learned it. And my daughter, that's her favorite song right now. She goes, walk, 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 walk.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Probably, girl, we gotta get our fans, girl. We gonna be outside this summer. Okay, I'm going on the road. I'm going on Carnival. I'm going to Mexico. I'm gonna be on the beach. So when we talk about science and sexy, they think Megan dress caused the scandal. They about to get all this body.
That sounds like it sounds hot. That sounds really hot and hot flashes.
I'm bringing you outside with me. You coming outside, Carla. Erica coming
I'll bring my fan. I'll bring my fan that I brought.
Tell your husband you're gonna be with me, so we'll be safe. We going outside. I can fight, and I keep baby knife on me.
All right. So, Erica, how do you deal with? I mean, maybe you haven't experienced it, but I know some Black women who speak on anime culture. They have gotten a lot of hate. They have gotten some hate from people who feel like they shouldn't be in that space. So, how do you navigate that?
I think like you said, they like to put us in boxes. And for whatever reason, they want to put us in the struggle box. And not everybody is struggling. um, and you know what I'm saying? I am allowed to use my free time, that I've earned to watch what I want to watch. Nobody would, even though I am a Bravo junkie, I do love the Real Housewives, but like nobody would look at me twice if I said I loved Real Housewives of Potomac, which I do. But you know what I'm saying? You don't get the side eyes because that's our expected lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I mostly just don't care.
I love it.
I think I'm Scorpio enough that like, other people's opinions really have never impacted what Erika Granderson has going on over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't, and you know what? A lot of it I don't even entertain because I don't engage in the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's even in my real estate business, that's just something I'm not going to do. So if that one of the things I ask myself is responding to this going to encourage a response? And if it is, I'm gonna leave it alone. And so when I see trolls or when I see people online or if I see people having discourse that I don't like, I mostly don't engage.
Mm-hmm.
I leave it alone.
Yeah.
So most of it hasn't I personally haven't had any negative comments come my way just because this is not what my page is for.
Yeah. I haven't had a lot of hate either. I mean, I did comic books a little different because it's more Western. So, but there are definitely more men in this space than women.
Yes.
So you do get a few comments here and there, people kind of discrediting you or not, thinking that you've done anything, you know, special, I guess. And like you
Right.
said, their opinions don't matter. But we do still have to kind of be, vigilant, I feel,
Of
on
course.
social to make sure that we don't expose ourselves to unnecessary drama and hate. So that's
Exactly.
good to hear, though. I'm
Exactly.
glad you've had a really good experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some people who've had bad experiences on
For sure.
Instagram.
I know that
So,
yeah, I know there's a lot of women, especially black. I can think of one. I'm not gonna say her name, but there's one like K Beauty makeup artist. And I mean she gets called a Korea boob every day. Every day. Every day. And I'm just like, it's Korean skincare. It's skincare. You know what I'm saying? So like it just, the fact that, or if we want to try a Korean style makeup or if we want to try like Chinese Douyin style makeup, now we're called Asian fishing, but a lot of black women also have monolids.
Well, and also every culture has what we have. Like they want to be us. They want to be us. They want to have thick lips. They want to have extensions. They want to have dark skin. They can touch they want to take our music. They want to be a part of the culture. But then when we step into that, sometimes when we step into their culture, all of a sudden we're appropriating. So it's a double standard. And it does
It
speak. This
is.
is one of the reasons why we have this podcast to allow people to have a space to tell their story without judgment, and connect to listeners that can relate to them. So but yeah, that's a whole nother episode for me. Me and Ebony have talked about it a lot on this show, is just how some cultures see us as they feel they have the right to take from us.
Yeah, our culture can be cosplay. And honestly, people talk about Black Americans needing to be more protective or just the diaspora in general. But honestly, a part of it now, I think a space I'm in life is like, it's not who we are. And I'm like, I'm okay to call people out for being, racist or things like that. But
of course,
if you're celebrating us and you're a part, I'm not necessarily giving you a pass to come to the cookout, but just saying like how beautiful it is. Like, imitated but never duplicated, baby. Like that's why there's cornbread Japan. I don't know if y'all heard about cornbread Japan, but look it up. But I know Japan is so that Japan is one of I've heard from a lot of Black people in the diaspora. It's been a very inclusive and safe space for them to go and relocate. Many people have blogs and things like that, and they talk about anime and manga and all the different culture and like nerddoms, and that they've been okay there, safer than they've been in the States. And people always think here, even with our gun violence or whatever and racism and history, that no, I'm good, I'll just stay here. But many people have traveled, to Asia and other countries and have been perfectly fine. But I mentioned cornbread Japan because they've come under scrutiny. People, telling them like, oh, you're, blackface or you're, appropriating. But I think they've been very respectful. And that's my opinion. I think they celebrate the culture. They shout people out when they have. And again, I haven't seen any problematic stuff. So don't quote me as saying, oh, they get a pass or nothing like that. Just saying what I have personally seen and interacted in their content has been celebratory and respectful and collaboratory and very much admiring our culture. So I'm with you, Carl. We could do a whole separate podcast episode.
No, absolutely. And I think the difference is that it's the people who are coming into our space or it's the hypocrites that are the problem, right? There are the people who love the sharing of cultures and what I'm saying, acknowledging that's a two-way street. But then it's the ones who want to take, and then try to call you out
I mean, you
for
look at like Boondocks
expressing
and
your love
like
for culture as the problem.
right. And you look at like Boondocks and like Afro Samurai and stuff like that. And people are like, there's actual history though between like the Silk Road and like trades historically between African countries and Asian countries. And we have, a lot of shared history there. Even like you mentioned, like the monoliths and some shared features. I'm not an anthropologist. That's not my area of expertise, none of that, genetics and all of that. But there's some history there to be said. And so a lot of those manga and anime like adaptations are based on history. But people have so much problem with like Afro Samurai and like Boondock depictions and some like sequential like fighting scenes and stuff like that. Y'all do know this is like from history, right? Like Aaron McGruder, I think he did political science and like history and stuff like that. Like he wasn't just, shot.
Right. It wasn't random.
Right.
I think isn't there a movie like The Last Ninja or something? The Last Samurai, wasn't he Black? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and then obviously again, and that is a literal historical fact. That's a historical fact. And then people.
He was played by Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I'm like, this is not like the movie The Wall. Was it Matt Damon? And everybody's like, we have this whole like Asian cast like fighting, and then we have a white man leading like he was not central to the plot at all. We didn't need the white man.
We didn't need
that. The movie.
So
they get mad when we say stuff like this. But welcome to our safe space at Aurora Comics Podcast.
Period. No, exactly. That's okay. Argue with your mama.
Nathan Algren, he was played by Tom Cruise. Loosely based on French officers Jules Brunet and Eugene Kalash. And then Saigo Takamori. I don't know any of those names, but I just know that there was a lot of controversy when The Last Samurai. I don't think it was any controversy when it came out, but like later, especially post George Floyd, it was kind of this kind of look back at all the different shows and cartoons that were very problematic, and we're just tired. Like I think we had even a show about the magical Negro trope, which is and what was the movie that we were making fun of? The magic Negro, the American Negro
Society.
Yes, that one. I don't remember the name, but we was just. I understand it's like satire and haha, it's funny, but we're just not laughing anymore. We're not laughing anymore. And I think now we really love these new shows that feature us, and we are the main characters. And nobody's blinking. Nobody's thinking twice about it. Like Paradise. We were just talking about Paradise. Y'all really got to watch Paradise. Did you start watching it yet, Ebony?
No, because we finishing Cross. I just told my
husband.
Oh,
have you seen Cross yet, Erika?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I actually bought the Alex Cross graphic novel that's supposed to be like his son. I haven't yet, but I did buy that graphic novel. And I don't know if it's the same author, James Patterson, or not, who wrote the original novels in the 90s. And I want to say my husband said some crazy stat, like he wrote one novel a year since the 90s. He deserved everything. Whatever.
He has a lot of adaptations on TV. That's all I know. Yeah.
It's so good. And as you know, you live in Maryland, Carla, but you know, I lived in DC and Maryland. It's like my second home. It's like where I grew up, like my home away from the Carolinas. So it's so DC with Ben's chili bowl, the mumbo sauce, and the go-go. See what y'all doing. Y'all, you know, I see y'all. So but Paradise is up next on our list. And I feel like I'm missing another show we gotta get caught. It's just so many to get caught up on right now.
What are you watching now, Erika, besides anime?
When I tell you that it is my main media style, I mean, it is. I mean, that is what it is. I'm trying. My husband is way more, um, live TV than me. Like I like actual shows and actors. So he is trying to get me like to scale it back. Like, okay, Erica, let's watch Paradise. Let's watch Cross. So this is not, but it's like we've been married for 13. No, we've been together for 13 years, married for 6. And so he has not won this fight yet. So we're trying. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress.
Well, you know what? Well, our time is so limited anyway. So you do what when you if you have an hour, you watch your anime, girl. And speaking of anime, like we talked a little bit about this, how when you turn an anime into live action, sometimes that translation is lost. So I had asked you, what did you think about the live action Avatar? Aang and Katara and all them. What did you think about it?
So live action is so hard, especially when you go from all the things you can do on the page, right? Fights, choreography, powers, you know what I'm saying? It just animated and drawn look way different than you CGIing it on somebody's hand, right? And so I think that's just my biggest gripe with that transition, is just that our graphics, even though it's 2025, and stuff is beautiful, but it just still isn't that it doesn't translate as nicely. And so it just kind of takes you out of it. And when you want to watch a TV show and to really dive in and just kind of like turn your brain off, and then especially if you already watched the original, and you're just like, every time, right? So I mean, even with any adaptation, like if something in a book that didn't happen, like I can talk all day about the Harry Potter books versus the TV shows, or Twilight versus Twilight movies. You know what I'm saying? Like any, novel adaptation to, film
loses it.
You always get those. It just doesn't translate as well.
So being a writer, I did find the dialogue. I loved the CGI. I loved all that. And I was, it's been years since I saw the cartoon. So I really when I was watching, I really didn't have any, I didn't compare the two. But one thing I did notice was the dialogue. The dialogue seemed really off to me. And I wasn't sure why, because it was following the storyline. I remember this happening. And then later I read an article about Netflix. The producers, or maybe the studio heads, they want the writers to write the dialogue in such a way if someone's looking away, they would still be able to follow the story. And I'm like, that's terrible. Like that, you lose the storytelling. So that's why some of the dialogue felt really off and forced, because the writers were told to write in such a way where if I'm go off into the kitchen and I'm, putting something in the oven, I can still follow along, which to me is so bad. That's such bad storytelling. But because I want to see these kids win, I want to see these kids of color win. I'm like all for season 2,
No, no, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And my critiques are only from a
Anime.
adaptation space. If I don't compare them at all,
Yeah.
it's watchable. I loved it. I love that a black man was a showrunner, right?
A black man, what? Wait a minute. I didn't know that. Who? Let me look. Let me Google this. Who was the showrunner for?
Googling and looking stuff up in real time, man.
I know,
All our
showrunner
listeners and
for.
watchers, like
It
y'all be
could
getting
be. I
real
could. I could be missing Avatar and One Piece. One of them, the live action, the showrunner for Netflix is a black man. So
Okay,
we'll
so
figure it out.
Albert
It may be One
Kim
Piece
is the
though.
showrunner of the Netflix series. So who is that? No, he's Asian for sure. So you must be well, maybe it's One Piece.
That's what I think I'm remembering.
Okay. What did you think about One Piece?
So again, same issues. Especially One Piece, the main character, his whole power is like rubber. And it's really hard to make the human body stretch when that's not what our body does. But I thought it was really well done. Because of Avatar, I think me and my husband got a little bit better about separating, like turning that side of the comparing part of your brain off. And so I think I need to go back and watch Avatar in this new brain space, right? Just kind of and taking it as a series for its own, like let it stay on its own.
Yeah, Matt, and you're right. Matt Owens is a black man, and he is a showrunner for One Piece, which I think is incredible. Because sometimes, as we talked about, sometimes they would like to put us in boxes. So that's really great that I didn't know that. That's a really, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And he is really black because sometimes they're a little ambiguous. But yeah, he is.
He's black.
Black. All right. There was a question I did want to ask you from our list. If you were, to talk to your 12-year-old self, what would you say? Because psychologists say that 12 is when we start to really contemplate our future. We begin to kind of think about ourselves beyond the moment and into what are we going to do when we grow up. So if you had to talk to 12-year-old Erika, what would you say to her?
I would tell her that it pays off. As a millennial black girl being raised by, a boomer or Gen X mom, the standards were very high. And I was the oldest. And so the pressure in the household, even at 12, I was in charge of cooking, I was in charge of cleaning, so my mom was a single mom, you know what I'm saying? And even at 12, I already knew I didn't want to add more to her plate. So let me just not make any waves. Well, as many, waves as a 12-year-old can't make. I mean, it was 12. Do my best to help her out. And then I do remember being like a little annoyed by that. I mean, 12, my brothers don't have to do laundry. My brothers don't have to clean the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have the same expectations. But now as a 35-year-old mom, realtor, someone who like has to actually juggle it all, I had that training at 12, you know what I'm saying? So while I went through my phase of being very, very annoyed with my mom, for how she raised me, now I'm like, okay, it paid off. It paid off. Like this, we're doing, there was a method to her madness. We probably could have, changed some stuff, but I am, that being able to take and look back on 12 and what, that version of Erika was, it really did help set the foundation for who Erika is at 35.
Wow. And so because if you're 35, I'm 44. So we're like almost, 9-10 years difference right there. So you was a baby when you started watching anime.
Yeah, like
baby, a toddler. Yeah.
No, not even. I mean, so I was born in '89, and so if we started watching in '97, then I was 8. So yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the age we love our cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Ebony?
I'm just saying she was born in the greatest year that there is, you know, being last of the 80s babies, coming up in the one of the best eras of anime. I mean, you know, God just started making anybody after 1989, but that year, solid,
That's so funny. I'm gonna
The
solid.
'90s
tell my
was
husband you said that because he was born in '90 and he likes calling me a grandma or old lady, even though we are only 9 months apart.
the '90s was something special. It really was. For me, I was a teenager in the '90s. I'm older than y'all. And I just remember the music was unlike anything. The music is what really made the '90s for me.
I
Um,
was born in at least like 69 or 75. Sometimes I feel like ooh, it would have been different if that, you know, somewhere between 69 and 79. I think I would have, yeah, it would have been a
Mm-hmm.
nice
I can
time.
see that.
And I'm
My
grateful for
mom, well, my dad was born in '68 and my mom was born in '70. And so,
and they that I mean they
oh, you
really
got some young parents.
yeah,
mine
the
too. Yeah, they met at
military.
19, married at 21. Had
Mm-hmm.
three of us by the time they was 25. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I waited. I mean, I was 33 when I had my daughter. So I don't even, when my
Yeah,
mom,
32. Yeah. I was 28, 30, yeah, 28, 30, and 32. We've been together 13 years, married 9. Yeah.
it's
Whew. Whew.
a long time. I know.
Minivan and mortgage. And like you said, I was like, man, what happened? 1997 was like just, you know, I blinked. You know, eating my cereal, watching anime with my sister. Like,
Right, exactly.
what happened? Now we're here.
And we came back. It's like we did a full circle because we're the same people we was when we was little.
Facts.
Hmm.
When somebody mentions
Yes,
like Sailor Moon, it's like, oh, like man, because we really had a lot of great shows. Pokemon, we got up early to watch them. I think it used to come on like
very early.
o'clock. And somebody said kids these days will never know the experience of like having to wait for your show to air, like before they have like TiVo or whatever to like record your stuff, having to search
Hmm.
the guide, find a channel, figure out when it was coming on. So you had to be front and center in front of the TV and or that was it because we wasn't getting like tapes and DVDs of everything or streaming. I'm trying
Okay.
Not yet.
to get physical media as much as possible by like showing they know DVDs. They what they
Mhm.
know. We have some DVDs.
Yep.
But
Blockbuster.
Friday nights, man, that trip to Blockbuster had a Blockbuster car. It was a treat if we got to stop and get pizza. Oh my gosh, man! Not simple
Mhm.
times. Simple times.
They used to have our Blockbuster. They had snacks, so you guys we
Mm.
had our video, and then we was able to get like one can. My mom would let us get like one candy.
Oh, that's right. They started adding the popcorn and the
Uh-huh. Yeah,
yeah.
they
Yep.
had like the movie packs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, and then Netflix happened. Netflix happened, Redbox happened,
Uh,
and completely changed everything. So,
They
but
really did.
yeah, is there anything?
yeah, any typical media anime, like trying to keep it just in case these streaming stuff and like what are you trying to
Mm,
for the apocalypse? No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
no, I'm trying to get better about collecting like physical book, like manga. Um,
How many do you
I
have?
haven't started my like Blu-ray DVD journey yet. As much as I call myself an otaku, I'm just like that may be a little too much for me. Just keep it on Crunchyroll, but it's probably a good idea. But again, I just don't even because we watch everything. I think that would be a hard thing to do. But I'll probably collect my favorites. It's probably a good idea.
I see that Solo Leveling was one of the best books of 2021. I'm like been looking at it on Barnes and Nobles, but is it animated? Like is it illustrated? So I'm like, wait a minute, is it just like trying to open?
So
Well,
there's two versions. There's the light novel, which is the novel, and then there's the web comic slash like comic book manga.
Gotcha.
So there's two different print media
Oh, I see. Yep.
of it.
It says
Hmm.
comic, parentheses comic. Okay, yeah, I want the comic. And then they have the actual text. But I didn't realize best of 2021. Okay, girl. All
I'll
right.
probably bypass that, but I'll probably get into the anime because a lot of the like we have Fire Stick, so I can find a lot of shows that I've never heard of on there. So I'm still binge watching My Hero Academia, And then after that, I think Solo Leveling would be my next one. I
You don't
think
like this,
because
Carly.
it looks really interesting just from the Google stuff I just did.
No, look, there's a lot of disc like if you go on threads right now and search solo leveling, the discourse is crazy.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Mother hospital
look,
bills, sister's tuition, job prospects. Okay, this sounds serious. Say
I'm just saying.
the only
But a lot
female.
of people, and I hate to say it, it's our brothers in arms, um, that are calling it, mid or like it's just
I
because
can get them. Why is it's not enough ladies with their breast out or something? Like what
I
they
mean there really isn't. I mean honestly, like there's like because that's just not. I mean, but that's just not the story, right? I mean they're never going to admit to that being the problem, but it is. Look, it is a very stereotypical battle shonen. Okay, so it just
That's what
like
I
is.
that,
like.
even the fact they don't have a woman with balloon and like unnatural breasts and like a tiny unnatural
Leotard.
waistline gracing the
We're not
cover.
allowed to call them out on that though.
Like you
Yeah.
said, would never admit it, but that's probably part of the reason because we have
But
this guy magic healer hand on the cover, and it's like
we see that in
No, like this.
comic books. We
in
see that
comic
in
books,
comic
same
books.
thing. Drawing women, they used to teach women 50 years, sorry, not teach women how to draw women for comic books. And they'll never talk about that. Even seeing other podcasts or shows actually rank the hottest women in comics, and I'm like, Carla, I don't know, should we stoop to their level and do a hottest men in comics or something? Like, who would do that? Like,
You should. You should. You
Let
should
me
absolutely. And
tell
then
you this. Let me tell you this. The way some comic book aliens be looking, they go versus men. Let me tell you, some of these aliens be looking.
look. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
They was just the hottest beings in comic books. Like it just have some aliens in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Blue people,
Yeah.
green people, yeah. Purple people. Like,
We should do a show. The hottest aliens in the
nobody on there with balloon titties is making our list. Like,
somebody did a AI version of Storm. Oh my gosh. I banned them from. I have a Facebook group. I banned them. I was like, no, we're not doing this. If you even think that was appropriate, that was because she was just over exaggerated features, and then she had her leotard was so tight that you can actually see the lines. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this.
Her books have done a great job of showing her in gowns, showing her in her laundry, but it's been tasteful. It's been sexy but like true to her character.
Sensual.
Yeah, I saw I only saw the artist do the green gown for her recently that came was circling the interwebs. The
Yes,
storm
the
and it's like
green
green.
gown.
I was like,
The doom. Yeah.
what?
Gown.
That was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, the hottest aliens in anime. Yeah, they I have gotten, I still see some crazy comments from our fellow blurs sometimes, but that's not the whole, it's not blurs, it's a few crazy ones and mixed in there. So
no, that's very true.
Yeah.
It's pretty true. I mean, and I think I feel like I'm a little desensitized to it because I grew up watching anime with my two brothers. And so like to this day, I still get texts like, "Yo, look," I'm like, "Y'all know I'm your sister." Like, I just
no.
So, but can I send y'all like, "Oh yeah, y'all need to look at his pecs." Can I send that to you? Can I send that? Can I send that?
Superman's underwear outside of his leggings. Like,
right.
Speaking of that, there is a scene in Paradise.
Oh, Sterling K. Brown?
Yeah.
Did y'all see Cross episode 1?
Yeah.
He was like, you just, I said, oh, you better pop, yo. Damn. I know that's right. You better
Yeah. So I was watching with my husband, so
you could have reacted.
Just to let you know.
Like, this is so inappropriate.
Well, I didn't react. I just it was just a regular scene to me.
My husband was laughing too, because I told him, I said, I'm sure there's been times when y'all have actually wanted to do that. to somebody to make sure they be quiet. Because people always questioning our brilliance. And it's like, you think you smarter than me, don't you? When he said that, he said, you just mad. I'm bigger than you.
You like stereotypes so much. What about this one?
What about this one?
And I hope, look, they've been fan casting him. What's the name? What's his Aldris?
Aldis Hodge?
Yes, they've been fan casting him as a Black Panther variant. So I'm here for it. Whatever. And did you see Yatiti has been liking our posts?
I'm
gonna try to get her on the show. We gotta get her on the show, girl. So, but I could go down this tangent, Erica, about Storm. We could go all that. I could go down a rabbit hole.
No, I love it, and it's I actually watch wrestling too.
Funny. What's that?
I said I actually watch wrestling too, and there's a current wrestler, Jade, who, if I think of what like an actual superhero character would look like, I feel like Jade would be it. And she actually models her character after Storm with the gray hair and but she's just muscular, like, but because she's muscular, you know what I'm saying, she's not really top heavy because she's muscular. But I just feel like, but she's still beautiful. I love her. And I just wish that when men draw their fan adaptations, they would like take some of this stuff into consideration. Like Storm is a legit superhero.
She's a goddess.
We can't be flying, you know.
I haven't read issue 6 yet of the Storm series, but apparently she's fighting the X-Men.
Wait, did I miss 6 already?
No, I think it just came out or it's coming out.
Oh, okay.
But she's fighting the X-Men, and there's already spoilers on the on YouTube, but I haven't clicked on them yet because I still want to read. I haven't even read issue 5 yet. So,
oh, it's so good. And I gave a little piece of something away a few moments ago. Okay, it's so good.
Everything is.
And there's Dr. Voodoo. So anytime there's Dr. Voodoo. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Erica. Thank you so much, honey, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And how can we support you?
So if you go to my Threads profile, my Instagram profile, or my TikTok, it is like Megan Thee Stallion, Thee Otaku Realtor on all my socials. Just give me a follow. The link to my newsletter is there. My email is there. And I just want to build a community of like nerdy homeowners. Because we exist. We got money. Nerd is not an inexpensive hobby. It's not cheap. So, the stereotype, I get all the time in my industry is that, why is this your niche? Why is this your niche? Anime nerds just live in their parents' basement. Nerds just live in their parents' basement.
Baby, the cosplay, the comics, the collectibles, the conventions.
And then, and if you add the gamers got some money.
Okay.
To pay off all that stuff they got up in there.
Ain't cheap, baby. When I was scanning my comics on my app, and I was like, you start seeing, because I didn't get all of them for cover price. Some of them were worth more. You got capsules, so we start adding. I was like, ooh, I ain't even scanned on my comic yet, and I'm already over $1,000. So, and that's just comics, not collectibles, not the cosplay props I got. That's not
$1,000, girl. What you going on?
I know comics.
That nursing is nursing over there, girl.
Somebody said this pandemic this time around that's coming. Get the bag. We getting the bag. They gonna.
But yeah, so I just want to prove. I mean, not even prove because we don't got to prove that nobody. But I just want to let the world know, and mostly America, because that's where the real estate exists, how it exists. At least for us, that we can be nerdy and we can buy houses. And I want you guys, and I want more for our community than just having to, no offense to any other realtor, I love everybody, but it would be nice to have representation for all your services, right? So,
yeah,
like, when you go to, like, I prefer going to a fellow nerd who's braiding my hair because I know what we're watching when she's braiding my hair. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
We got anime
I feel like it's in the
homeowners,
same
anime
realm.
hair braiders. I love that for us. I love that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my dream.
Well,
So
thank you so much. And
thank you.
thank you for joining us this past hour to chat about homes and anime and nerdy culture. And we will hopefully talk to you soon. And
Okay,
you're
sounds
officially
good.
a family, a friend of the pod. So anything
Love
you
it.
want us to
Yay.
share, anything you want us to share on our channel, our page, anything you want to collaborate with, just tag us.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thank
Erica.
you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye, babe.